I asked. I had arrived home from the city late the night before and had yet to hear any of this. To confirm it was a suicide, Tiffany said, looking ill. Her long white coat blew open and billowed out behind her, but she didn't even seem to notice. She was one of those girls who was able to look perfect, whether it was 10,000 degrees and humid or windy and pelting sleet. Tall and ebony-skinned, with short-cropped black hair and big brown eyes, she had the cheekbones of a supermodel, but preferred to spend her time behind the camera rather than in front of it, a quirk that almost none of the Billings girls could understand. Guess after last year they're being cautious. Want to make sure there's no question. They even asked us about you, Reed, Astrid Chow said in her cool British accent, her short black hair blowing straight up in the back. About your row with Cheyenne. What? I blurted, my heart pounding. They don't think I... No, Astrid said, first adamantly, then comfortingly. She put her hand on my arm and looked at me with her steady dark eyes. Astrid was a new transfer this year, but I had met her last December at Cheyenne's Christmas party in Litchfield. For a while I had thought she and Cheyenne were BFFs, but it had turned out that Astrid was more of a kindred spirit than I had thought. Like me, she hadn't condoned Cheyenne's crazy hazing tactics or her arbitrary ostracizing of some of the other new Billings girls. I had a feeling she could turn out to be a great friend. Plus, her quirky style and honest, blunt sense of humor were both welcome anomalies in Billings. We told them it was just a normal fight between girls, Tiffany clarified. Nothing weird. Happens all the time. Of course, they don't think that you had anything to do with anything. They just had to ask, Sabine added. It's their job. Even in the face of all this logic, I had to stop. My heart was pounding in my very eyes. It was a suicide. A suicide. I had proof. I had her second suicide note on my computer. Not that I was eager to share that with my friends or the police. And, okay, according to that second note, which Cheyenne had emailed only to me, it had been my fault. But I hadn't actually killed her. This was insane. As my closer friends paused around me, waiting for me to recover from my aneurysm, a few of the other Billings girls rushed ahead to get out of the cold. Reed, no one thinks you had anything to do with this, Constance said. Don't worry. I swallowed hard. But they actually thought she might have been... I couldn't even say the word. Not again. Not again. Tiffany swallowed and pressed her full lips together. I guess they thought maybe. I couldn't move. Murdered? They had thought Cheyenne might have been murdered? But why? What would make them think someone would want her dead? Besides me, of course. And our argument. But that hadn't been my fault. She had tried to steal my boyfriend. The distinctly metallic rev of a power saw cut through the air. Everyone on the quad paused. A flock of birds took flight from a nearby oak, squawking like mad and scattering bright orange leaves all over the grass. Suddenly my heart was in my throat. I wondered how long it would be before I felt safe on campus again. What the hell was that? Tiffany asked. She lifted her camera to capture a shot of the fleeing birds, never missing an opportunity to create art. There was already a crowd of students gathered around the propped-open back door to Mitchell Hall, a central building just to the north of the dining hall, which housed the great room, several meeting rooms, and the art cemetery, among other things. We all hurried forward. There wasn't much that happened at Easton Academy that the Billings girls didn't know about first. What was going on? A few people slipped through the back door and down the wide hall, following the sounds of pounding and sawing and shouting, but I hesitated at the threshold. The windows to the art cemetery were right there. My very proximity to them made my blood curdle. Josh and Cheyenne. Josh and Cheyenne. Josh...